Oh, wait, no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 469 of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. I'm your host, Tegan, aka Lightweight Gaming, and it is here where we chat about the latest and greatest in all things PlayStation every week. With me this week, I have the Mr. Badbit himself.
Hello, how are you?
And the Mr. K-Step, aka Kyle.
Crushing it!
We had to throw you guys off today. This week, we're going to chat about PlayStation abandoning the PC life. Bloodborne Remake was shut down by an unlikely source, and Sony Santa Monica has a third game in the works. We're also going to give our thoughts on Resident Evil 9 Requiem and so much more. And if you're on YouTube watching live, consider to hit the like and share and subscribe while you're here. I started out so strong.
It's all right. I let you stray.
Amazing.
It's a weak
also
that I have.
Jonathan Kelly in chat.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was episode 469. Okay, that was not a thing.
I don't know if you heard me stutter over it. I was gonna say nice, and I refrained because it was the first line of the show, and I said, "No, you gotta be better than that. You gotta be better than that when you're doing the opening."
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Nailed it. That was great.
Okay, if I were a cheerleader, I'd be going like this right now. Stuck the landing.
All right,
Thanks for letting me do that. That was fun.
How's everybody doing since our little trophy room retreat last week? How are we feeling? Kyle?
I think we're all a little rough since then. I think that weekend wiped us out. What's going on?
I think so.
What's going on over here?
I think a lot of people can agree with what I'm about to say. Whenever you leave friends after being around them for a longer period of time, the dip in happiness and the depression hits real hard. So like the moment I said goodbye to Light when you dropped me off at the airport, I literally turned around and my eyes started tearing up. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to go because I'm just here. I'm stuck in this room again. So yeah, a little sad that I'm not with y'all. It was a great weekend. Light, thank you so much for having us. It was incredible.
Seriously,
it was really nice having you guys.
We had a fun time. Also, shout out to the museum that we went to.
Incredible. Oh my God. What was the name of that? It was like the Museum of Play?
Yeah, I took them to Strong National Museum of Play, and it is a world famous toy museum. We have like the Toy Hall of Fame and things like that there, but there's a new video game section that talks about the history of video games. There's a section where you can like play life-size games where you have your own bracelets and you're scanning to collect things and playing a whole variety of games. Joe got to be a voiceover, which was hysterical. We tried to record it, but it didn't come out. Where basically it gives you lines, but you don't know what the game is from. So you voice the lines. And we did a co-op one where it was Joe and I. And Joe made this high Mickey Mouse style voice. And it ended up being Nathan Drake. And it was so funny. I could not breathe. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, it was so good.
So good.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's cool to see like the history of gaming. They have a lot of retro consoles there. They have like giant versions of console controllers so you can play games. And yeah, it's a fun time. So we went there, and then the rest of the time we just played video games, man. Mr. Light and I turned our living room into a gaming zone. So we had 2 TVs, a monitor, 4 different Ethernet cords coming down from the router. It was like an old-fashioned LAN party, and it was awesome.
Dude, it was so much fun. I had a lot of fun trying to find a copy of Resident Evil Requiem, just like the rest of the internet apparently, and failed real bad at it. But that's pretty much what we were doing. We were just watching Kyle play Resident Evil Requiem all weekend. Which
Light played too. We passed it off a little bit.
Yeah, I played for like I don't know, an hour, and then I was like, okay, now I'll just watch you.
And I was there.
Yeah, too scared to play.
I played the first 2 opening hours, and I did more.
Yeah, on your own after you watched us play through it.
Yeah. Oh, I got so many thoughts because I switched Grace from first person to third person midway through.
Oh, don't say anything. We'll save it. Let's say.
I also,
Okay.
when they looked like a drug den, it looked like it was straight out of the Breaking Bad because I don't have like blackout curtains or anything in my living room. So it was just like sunshine on the TV and we could not see. So I hung up like 5 blankets on each window. So it looked like we were doing nefarious activities in there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no meth was had.
It was a good time.
Really quick before we continue, I think was it Nisa? Was it Silcanet in chat? They notice your sweater, like, and they ask you, which start are you gonna rock in the next gen?
Oh God, I don't know. I love all of them, and I know that's a hot take because everybody has issues with them, but I think they're all so cute. I love Grout with his little unibrow, and he just looks like a squishy little birdie, and I just want to love him. But then, shoot, what's the
water one?
The water one is
Quen
something with a Q, such a diva, and I
Gekwa,
like Aqua Gecko, and I love her as well. Obviously, the dog is cute, but like, of course, the dog is cute. But I feel like Sprout and Gekwa are not getting enough love, and that's not okay. But I have to see their final evolution because sometimes
I will say it's been going around, I think, on TikTok and on social media. Somebody put Timberlands on Brout and a like a puffy black jacket, and now I can't unsee him from being from Brooklyn. So like, I kind of might want to go that route when I play it.
Someone was saying they think he's going to turn into a sumo wrestler. I hate when they go humanoid. I don't.
Yeah.
I want a pet. I don't want a random human that I'm controlling. That
no,
has
that's
weird
weird.
features. Like I want them to stay looking like an animal. I think that's why I like the earlier gens so much because they keep kind of that, like, they're weird animals, but they're still animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think Mewtwo and Lucario get away with it. But other than that, it's hard.
But Mewtwo still looks like an animal. Like
sure,
it's on the hind legs, but it's still very like alien, I guess. The other ones just look like, I don't know. There's one that's like, who's the he was so cute as a starter too. He's a water type and he's like such a sassafras. He's got really long skinny legs and he's like, you know what I mean? That's how he stands. Like that.
Strike a pose.
Dude, like, go walk the runway, but you're not my Pokemon.
Exactly. Sashay away. So listen, gang, Kyle and Light, they're hosting this week, okay? I had, truth be told, a panic attack for no reason, 30 minutes prior to the show going live. I just had a mini freak out and I'm not feeling myself this episode, though I feel like I need to be on to distract myself, if that makes sense. So that said, before we get into all the news that is PlayStation this week, which there has been a lot, T, you put this in the starter questions. Are we ready to talk about this?
Well,
yeah.
I put it in.
We can.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we figured when we were all up at Lights this past weekend, we wanted to chat about the show, the channel, and I'm here to officially say I'm leaving. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I wanted to give Joe another panic attack on the show. No, it's okay. Tegan, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Cruel joke. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry.
He hangs out with me for a weekend. He's like, bye, bitch. I cannot.
Absolutely not. I'm doubled down. You're not getting rid of me. No, but we wanted to chat and make sure that we are giving you guys the best stuff that we can possibly do and provide with Patreon and here on the show. So, gonna give you a few weeks lead time, I think is what we decided. The show is going to change a little bit format wise, but we're not going to change anything without any of y'all's input. Same thing with Patreon. So we're going to put a Google form with some questions about your favorite segments from the show, any feedback that you would like to provide. It can be all anonymous. It's totally fine. And then what you would like us to do on the Patreon side of things, and what shows on Patreon you enjoy, or what you would like us to see us do on there. So look for that form in the Discord. We'll probably put it in the description here, Joe, right?
Yep.
In the YouTube video version. So look out for that, and then we'll put on socials eventually, but we want to make sure our community gets to answer it first and foremost, so we don't get any of these jokers coming in here.
100%. And in truth, it's like when it comes to like the structure of the show, it's small changes
Small
that I feel
things.
like it's necessary, because sometimes it feels like Flash News and Square Up the News are just the same thing. So we want to kind of switch it up a bit and like have a little bit more fun. But we're not like, listen, no disrespect to our friend Luke, who, of the Xbox gaming expansion pass. We're not changing. We're still the Trophy Room PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. It's just, we're little things and like questions like what you'd like to see out of like exclusive content on Patreon, that type of stuff. So help us build the show better.
We came up with some amazing ideas over the weekend that we would love to do, but obviously time, we're all very busy people. We saw firsthand Light and Mr. Light being incredible parents. So, and we don't want to. We want to make sure our time is well spent. And
they
and we all
understand
get to
why I'm
live
so
outside.
exhausted now.
Yeah.
This little girl is so brilliant, man. She's so smart at
It's
stuff.
a problem.
She's
I don't know. She
outsmarted
kept
me
calling me
several times.
diarrhea head. Okay, so I don't know about that one.
I made the mistake of showing her the Shut Up song from the Black Eyed Peas because she thought she loves Queen. So she was listening to Another One Bites the Dust. And there's a line in there where she was convinced he said shut up. And we're like, I don't think that's what he says. And I was like, but there used to be a song called Shut Up. And I started singing it and she thought it was the funniest thing. And I was like, oh, we're going to show you this song now. And we taught her, like, listen, you can't say this to people. You can't say this at school. You can sing it at home, but that's it. But now she's obsessed. So she just walks around the house shaking her booty going, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. So you missed that one.
But you know what we did miss? Her belting the Baldur's Gate Down by the River song in the car. Oh my God, adorable.
It's the cutest freaking thing I've ever heard in my life. She was singing Claire Obscura songs in the car. She's like, oh, me and Gustav, we're besties. And I'm like, you are the cutest thing.
She's
And
convinced she speaks French, even though she's just speaking gibberish, but it's still really
so
cute.
She's the best. That's it. Listen, someone's vacuuming or something in here. Kyle Stevenson, would you like to read the patrons this week?
Yeah. Also, I love how
go
Joe's like,
investigate.
hey, Kyle, Tegan, you're going to host, but hey, let me still steer.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm joking. I'm
Okay.
bringing levity.
You are.
You know, it's fine. It's fine. You go figure out who's vacuuming and doing all the sucking in the
Cut
house.
the cord.
Yeah.
It is episode 69. So.
It is. Shout out to our Patreons. Whatever we do here, your support means the world to us. It's how we are able to afford the programs we do, potentially getting us to PAX East and SGF this year. So thank you so much for your support. Our newest members, Big G at the bronze tier, Lord Dialot at the silver tier, and Skylar at the bronze tier. Our premium members, Todd Burwitz, Caleb Cook, and Toxic. Special shout out to K-Rock's Kiddo Cullen. Platinum members, JC, Jedi Master Ren, Cowboy Danger D, Jonas Young, The Green Gorilla Gamer, Chaotic Monkey, Ryuku Kill 90, Stephen Flesh, Strubles and Bits. Oh, I feel like a burp coming on, and I'm so sorry. Aaron, Bertos Maximus, Tommy, Chris, Hybrid 748, Matt Valdez, Silcanet, Decime, Mitchell Grambling, Mike Thomas, Gregory Holmes, Manix Vizia, Solo Carbonite Free since 1983, and our gold members, Jesse Garcia, JB the Purple Monkey, Hide Indoors, Katie, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Marcus O'Neill, Red Arrow, Ageless Hermit, Androzosaur, Astronaut Jr., Winter Gamer, Stingray X, Robbie Bobby Miller, Brenton Zachary, Final Fan XZ, Hambone, JD Dillinger, Stone Cold ET, Tino Six Speed, and Johnson, Sean McKenzie, Rick Harrington, Matthew King, Duh Overlord, Dewani Raksha, Drellish, Rick Davis, Steph Mildinner, Samuel Nestling, Maximum Carnage, Michael Hassett, Drug Prowlin' Wolf, Battered Haddock, Arlie Upper 90, Bonnie Barefoot, and Suddy, who we got to see firsthand carrying Joe. Not the backpack, like Joe likes to say on the show. See, he can't hear. He can't defend himself. Suddy is the one that carries Joe, okay?
Joe
Don't let him lie.
In the backpack or out of the backpack. every week.
1,000,000%. We heard the whole conversation, all
It's
right?
true. We did.
It's incredible. Hi, Joe. How was the vacuuming? When you edit this episode, don't listen to the last 30 seconds. You're fine.
Nothing to see here.
Okay. I don't believe you. Someone was vacuuming the stairs, right? And my mom comes up and I go, what was it doing? She's like, oh, I'm just vacuuming the stairs. And then she comes up close to me. She goes, Joe, look outside. The blood moon. Oh my
Wait, tell her she's
word.
not supposed to clean on the blood moon.
Is that a thing? Oh,
Listen, she's Hispanic
Damn
enough
it.
that sounded convincing even
There
to I.
there are days you're not supposed to clean on, but I don't think blood moon's one of them.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I hate being gullible sometimes. You're like, oh yeah, don't really? Oh no.
No, but they say it like Chinese New Year, you're not supposed to clean on that day.
Oh.
And then there's like the actual New Year, you're not supposed to clean or do laundry because what you do is what you're asking to bring in for that year. So if you're doing laundry and cleaning and stuff, you're asking to have a lot to like pick up in your life.
Okay.
Nobody needs that.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Luckily, it's my birthday, so I sleep till noon and do nothing. So
Oh, yeah. We need hard drugs on Chinese New Year, right? Is that the theme that we need to do?
100%.
Anyways, shout out to our YouTube members: Jonathan Kelly, Nisa Hauer, The Kush Completionist, Mr. Light, Freight Conductor, Strublesbits, and Tommy. Become green in chat. Get a trophy next to your name. Support us live as we record this live each and every Wednesday. And have a great time.
Ooh-wee. All right, gang, let's get right into it. This is some of the biggest news possibly this year we're talking about right now. And this first story, I got a lot of flack on Twitter because I was like, what's with the spoilers, everybody? And then even Light's husband dunked on me and said if anybody wanted to play God of War, they would have played it already. And also, it's such a basic story point. It's literally the synopsis of the first game. Nobody can be angry at you. So we're going to talk about this story, but just heads up, I guess.
Yeah.
Link in the
Well,
description.
like we do on the show. Spoiler warning for God of War Ragnarok and God of War.
Right.
If you like to skip ahead, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, feel free.
Yes. Yeah.
But we're going to talk about it because it's a kind of big news story.
Yeah.
So,
but not major story, just a character. Yeah.
sure. And how Solid Snake shows up in the game. Tom Phillips over at IGN writes, God of War developer Sony Santa Monica reportedly making action-focused spin-off focused on Faye. God of War developer Sony Santa Monica is reportedly working on a major spin-off focused on Faye, Kratos' wife and the mother of Atreus. Whispers of what exactly Sony Santa Monica was working on next have been growing over the past weeks, following an earlier tease by Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier that the studio's next project was, quote, not a new IP, but it might feel like one, end quote. Over the weekend, the LinkedIn profile of a writer who worked on the project was widely shared online, describing it as, quote, a new franchise within the God of War universe, end quote. Then notorious leaker Nate the Hate stated that the game would center on the character of Faye, something IGN also understands to be accurate. Quote, yes, the game is set within the God of War universe, and the lead character will be Faye, wrote Nate the Hate, who has a decent track record with leaking video game-related project information. Current plan, reveal this year, release first half of 2027, barring any delay, end quote. Faye, otherwise known as Laufey, is an important character in the story of Sony Santa Monica's Norse God of War titles, and particularly God of War Ragnarok, where she is portrayed by True Blood and Daredevil star Deborah Ann Woll. The 2018 God of War begins with Faye dead, and the entire game is structured as a journey to fulfill her last wish, that her ashes be scattered from the Nine Realms' highest peak. That game's conclusion reveals that Faye had been a Jotun, or frost giant. God of War Ragnarok then features Faye more extensively, with the character appearing to Kratos in flashback-like dreams. Sony Santa Monica developing a game focused on Faye would suggest its story will be a God of War prequel from 2018, likely with a little appearance from Kratos himself.
Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. I want to throw this over to you. How, and I think your mic's muted, how do you feel about them making a God of War game without Kratos and focusing it on a female protagonist? Doesn't that just make you sick? This is sad dad of war game, not woman empowerment game. Your thoughts?
No, it makes me really fucking excited.
Yeah.
I am excited to learn more story about this world, but also not necessarily focus on Kratos. I've said before, like, I'm not ready for Kratos' story to be done if there's more story to be told. But if they don't have more story to tell at this point, I don't want them to force it. So if it means I need to play a different character so that I can continue to have this feel of combat and this feel of universe and the music and the lore and the environment, I'll take it. I think it could be cool because we know that, the axe was hers. So we can
Yeah,
still use the Leviathan axe, which we are used to now with Kratos, versus if they made an Atreus spinoff. Excuse me, I have to go right there.
no worries.
Um,
She's alive.
some people had issues with his combat and the feel of his combat. With Faye, you already know she has the Leviathan axe. You can have another weapon as well, but also have that is your consistent thread through to the Kratos games. I think it makes a lot of sense. It also will answer some plot points and some story points that you have about how did they meet? How did Kratos become here and married to Faye with a child and
Yeah.
all that stuff. There's a lot of story beats that you could answer through her that I think will be really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many avenues that they can go with this game, and there's so many like missing pieces in this game as well. Or sorry, in the last two games of like, who blows the horn, right, and starts what is it? Oh God, I forget what it's called, but like the winner, like it's all those type of things. Like, how does she mark the way for Atreus and Kratos in the first game? Like all those little things. But I think what you said was 100%. It's like, how do these two meet? That's what I want to know. I know there's a comic of how he whatever. I want to see how they meet, and I want to see how she changes him for the better. And that's the thing that I'm really excited to see. Because Kyle, I was thinking, what if Kratos is actually kind of the antagonist, and like hijinks ensue where they're working together reluctantly or whatever, but she's changing his mind of who he truly is at the end of the day, or reminding him himself of a part of a time when he wasn't the god of war.
I can get into that. But my biggest holdup of this, because I am so down for this. First of all, Deborah Ann Wall is incredible. So if we
100%.
get more of her in a lead role, yes, please. My only hang up was that I don't know if I love if it's just Faye doing the same path that we did in 2018. So same locations, same beats, just to get, like you said, laid that groundwork of painting the area and showing Kratos and Atreus where to go.
Right.
Like, it'd be cool if this game ends with her starting on that journey and we get a completely different one. Yeah. I don't want to just hit the same location beats just before 2018. But I think it would be cool. It would make all the the alpha macho PlayStation terrible fanboys mad. Sure. I would love if Kratos is in the Atreus role in this game.
Oh,
and Faye, you're playing as Faye.
Yes,
but Kratos is fighting alongside you and not really playable as like a tag team duo in combat. I think would be so cool.
Dude,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that sounds like. So neither of you guys are like kind of bummed out that this is still like in the God of War universe. This is not a original IP. This is.
I'm holding on to the fact that maybe this is the third game.
Okay.
The remake trilogy, this one, and then Corey's other game. I don't think this is Corey's game.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. You two talk about that for a second, because there's some hooting and hollering now. I don't know what's going on over there, but something you said. Go for it.
Going off of what Joe had said before about Kratos being the antagonist, I could see it being Kratos just arrived and he's still like old Kratos and not the Kratos that we know. And not necessarily that he's the bad guy, but him and Faye, when they meet, I don't think they get along right out the gate.
Exactly.
So there is going to be some tension. There is going to be some headbutting there. There is going to be something along those lines that could be cool. And that way you can also open up to new regions. So it's not just the area we've been in, because just because that's where they settled doesn't mean that that's where he originally showed up. You know what I mean? So that could open up the map a little bit more. And then maybe we end going to the area that we recognize.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like the idea to that point, Light, of Faye is just living her life and then gets word of a disruption in the realm that somebody who's not supposed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's her journey of figuring out how this is. And then, yeah, somewhere through it, whether it's the final boss fight or not, it is you against Kratos.
And seeing, okay, because see, now I have a bunch of ideas, but obviously, like, Brock and Sindri will still be in it because they were her friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, she was there with the making of the prophecy. She knows the prophecy, so her living her life with the Jotun, and then seeing the prophecy, and then meeting Kratos, like, all of those story beats could be so freaking cool if they're done right.
Maybe we get Mimir not in a tree.
Yeah, who knows? Honestly, like, they could go so many different time periods and places, and because they're all not human, their lifespans are much different than ours. So it can, we can do some really cool things with this potentially.
Yeah,
agreed.
I do, and the fact that it's like styled after like Devil May Cry or like Bayonetta, like it kind of also brings it back to the roots of God of War a little bit too. So like, I'm super interested. I'm not disappointed that like this isn't a original IP because this is more Santa Monica, and truly, I think that they're probably PlayStation's best studio, and they've crafted the best stories thus far in this generation. So I'm super excited. I'm very ready to give this a chance. I just wish Sony was giving certain IP a chance. You know, Kyle? You know what I'm saying, doggy dog?
I don't, because I just realized I didn't retweet the show thing.
It's okay. I'll read the title for you. Bloodborne Remake was reportedly pitched by Bluepoint and accepted by Sony. But man, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. FromSoftware turned it down. And this comes from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. Kyle Stevenson, are you ready now?
I am ready.
Yeah, yes.
Bluepoint, the studio behind the successful Shadow of the Colossus and Demon Souls remakes, reportedly pitched a Bloodborne remake last year that was rejected not by Sony, as many have thought, but by FromSoftware. This comes from a new Bloomberg report discussing the reasons Bluepoint was shut down by Sony earlier this month. As Bloomberg shares, Bluepoint was working on a live service God of War game following its acquisition by Sony and support work on God of War Ragnarok. The God of War game would have involved Atreus falling into Hades and different quote-unquote versions of him battling through it with some kind of cooperative element. The idea didn't really coalesce, and Bluepoint, famous for more traditional action games, was a poor fit for the project, so it was canceled in January 2025. The studio was encouraged to pitch other ideas, and the one that made the most sense was a remake of 2015's amazing Bloodborne, which IGN gave a 9.1 out of 10. Fans have begged for a Bloodborne remake or sequel for years, with all sorts of rumors cropping up that one might be in the works for at any given time. Popular belief has been that Sony, as the IP owner, is what stands in the way of FromSoftware actually making one, but according to Bloomberg, that may not be the case. According to those working at the studio, they were told that while Sony was interested in a Bloodborne remake, FromSoftware was not, and the idea was scrapped. Bloodborne's status has long been in limbo, with various individuals with ties to the project sharing conflicting thoughts on what can be made of it. Back in 2024, FromSoftware director Hidetaki Miyazaki, I butchered that, said it was quote-unquote not in my place to talk about a Bloodborne remake because FromSoftware does not own the IP. He also told Eurogamer at the time that the game would benefit from a release on modern hardware. Then the following year, PlayStation's Shuhei Yoshida offered a theory on Kinda Funny as to what was going on with Bloodborne that may match up with what happened to Bluepoint's pitch. Bloodborne has always been the most asked thing, and people wonder why we haven't really done anything, even an update or a remaster. Should be easy, right? The company is known for doing so many remasters, some people get frustrated. I have only my personal theory to that situation. I left first party, so I don't know what's going on, but my theory is, because I remember, Miyazaki-san really, really loved Bloodborne, what he created. So I think he is interested, but he's so successful and he's so busy, so he cannot do himself, but he does not want anyone else to touch it. So that's my theory, and the PlayStation team respects his wish. So that's my guess. Right? Theory. I'm not revealing any secret information, to be clear. The question of why no one wants to hit such an obvious home run or let someone like Bluepoint hit it for them remains. FromSoftware is currently hard at work on the Dustbloods, a similarly vampire-themed game exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2.
That's right.
Is Bloodborne vampire-themed?
There's a vampire section.
Sure.
Give it up to Rebecca. She's new
that's
over
right,
there.
That's right. As for Bluepoint, it reportedly went on to pitch other ideas, such as an updated Shadow of the Colossus and a spin-off of Ghost of Tsushima.
Well, you know what? Technically, if you really think about it, Fear the Old Blood, they are drinking blood, blood administration.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can make a really good claim, actually.
Also, I feel like I guess spoilers for Bloodborne. But I'm pretty sure as the last person on the face of the planet to play it, the whole section with like aliens, they're kind of like energy vampires.
True.
Yeah. Good call.
Goddamn Colin Robinson.
It reportedly went on to pitch other ideas, such as an updated Shadow of the Colossus and a spin-off of Ghost of Tsushima, before it was tragically shut down by Sony, with leaders believing the studio was not equipped to make its own game and was able to find a sensible partnership. Per Bloomberg, some companies are currently in talks to see if they can save the studio and take it off Sony's hands, but no word yet as to how successful that may be.
God, I hope so.
That's true. So can Kanehurst are vampire. Yeah,
they're vampires. Yeah. And that's one of the best sections of the game. So, all right. That said, a little bit more on this. Jeff Grubb wrote on Twitter, don't have hope. Bloodborne isn't happening until the relationships cool down, so maybe never. That's my read. I asked him, you've mentioned tensions between the two before. What caused the relationship to deteriorate? He responded, the rumors going around now that From didn't like what Bluepoint and PlayStation did with Demon Souls is part of it. I said, interesting. So it's less to do with, hey, we want to do it ourselves and we don't want anyone touching our creative vision. And he said it's a complicated mixture of those reasons. I would only be guessing. So interesting enough, but we've also had various people come out and go, there's been at least like 10 companies that wanted to do something with Bloodborne, and FromSoftware shot them down every single time. So it really seems like PlayStation is respecting the wish of FromSoftware, and they're not touching it until they want to, or until they, Elden Ring 2 doesn't hit the way they want, That said, Kyle, we got a little bit more insight on the inner workings here. What struck you? What struck you in this article the most here?
The fact that it wasn't Sony. I think honestly, the fact that because we were all in the car driving around trying to get you Resident Evil when you read this news out loud to us, and you were like, it wasn't Sony, it was FromSoftware. And I felt like Julius Caesar, like et tu, Brute. It insane to me that they don't want to, because that would be a surefire bestseller, right? It has to be. So I'm a little shocked about that, especially hearing like Miyazaki seemingly before was like, it's not up to me really, it's up to Sony, and now we find out that Sony figured it was time to do it, and then they themselves were like, nah. It's just, what a wild situation. At this point, I don't even want a full remake, just remaster it. Put it on PS5 with some, quality of life fixes. 60 frames
honestly,
per second,
just give me a new trophy list. I'm an easy lay, dude. I'm an easy lay. Just give me anything.
But also, Bluepoint. The other thing was like, it feels like once they had the God of War thing canceled, which was a bad idea,
right off the get-go. Yeah.
From what these reports are saying, it felt like they were spiraling a little bit.
Yes.
It's like, why would they pitch a new iteration of Shadow of the Colossus?
Right. And I think, so the way that studio is tooled, from what I understand, is they're really great engineers and they're very talented artists. Depending on who you ask, if their name's FromSoftware, they might have a different opinion. But the way that studio is tooled, it's a remake remaster studio. It's not an original idea studio, right? And so, they don't have that type of talent there to teach the rest of the team of like, here's how you build something from the ground up type of deal. The Too Long Didn't Read. So like that, any new game was going to be a challenge for them. Then add on the complications of live service, games as service, that ball of wax as part of it. And you're just asking for this team to fail. So it really is a failing on Herman Hulst for sure. And it's also like kind of just the team wasn't set up for this. They should have always been remaking and remastering things. It's why for me, Kyle, I'm surprised that Santa Monica is making that trilogy and Bluepoint wasn't. It's like, how about Santa Monica focuses on finishing Corey's game or going and making a new IP or whatever, expanding on that universe that they've created. Like, to me, it just made sense. Give it to Bluepoint, but it is incredibly unfortunate. And I hope they're able to spin that out and hand it off to someone else. But as we're going to talk later on in the show, it just doesn't seem like the investment for games in general is in a healthy spot right now. So yeah, this really sucks and it really bums me out. Like, do you think I'll ever get it? Do you think I'll ever see the day? What's it going to take for the relationship to repair?
I don't even know if it's a faulty relationship, but it does from based off the quote we saw from the Kind of Funny interview and just people that I know that kind of sound like this, it seems like FromSoft is kind of like, this is our baby and we want to be the ones who take care of it. And that makes sense. Like there are a lot of people where it's like, no, you can't touch this because this is my love, this is my passion, and I'm afraid you're going to mess it up. But to be honest, I've kind of always, and I think I've said this to you guys before, I feel like if they were going to do it, they would have already done it. And I know that sounds awful, but I'm not surprised by this. I feel like I've said that. Like, if they didn't do it on one of the biggest anniversaries that they've had, what was it, 10 years?
Yeah,
then it's not
years.
they're not gonna do it. Maybe 20 years.
Maybe.
But at that point, like, I don't know. Maybe that's a pessimistic view of me, but it seems like they are the only ones who want to touch it. But at this point, they want to do other things. They love Bloodborne and they love it the way that it is. It was their vision. It was perfect for them. And now they're doing other things. And as like, that sucks. I totally get that as somebody who would love, Fallout remakes and a Morrowind remake and things like that. Like I absolutely get it. It does suck, but it just doesn't seem like they are on the same page as all of the fans. They've made their perfect game. It's their baby. They're happy with it, and they still want you to play as it was created.
Yep. And so, you know what? I'll just get the Dusk Bloods while I wait because, life is pain and it only gets worse, Kyle?
Right. Yes, I know.
That said, I want you to read this story next.
Oh.
I want to switch it up a bit. Okay. This one's the story of the night. This is what everybody's talking about. Jason Schreier, yet again, he probably lives like in the attic of the trophy room. He's like, I'm going to break a story just for these guys. You know what I mean? It's like From Russia with Love type of thing, but it's Jason. Did I buy you enough time?
For what? To read the story?
Yeah, because I thought you were going. Okay, go.
Oh, no, I'm good. So like Joe said, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg says Sony pulls back from PlayStation games on PC. Sony Group Corp no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC, a major shift in strategy that seems the video game maker returning to console exclusivity after 6 years of flirting with multi-platform releases, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Online games such as Marathon and Marvel Tokon will still be released across multiple platforms, but single-player titles such as last year's samurai hit Ghost of Yotei and the upcoming action game Sorrows will remain exclusive to PlayStation 5, said the people, who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to talk publicly about the company's strategy. The people cautioned that things could change in the future due to the unpredictable nature of the video game industry and that Sony's plans are constantly shifting. But in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotei and other internally developed games to PC. Two games made by external developers but published by PlayStation, Death Stranding 2 and the upcoming Kena Scars of Cosmora, are still planned for release on PC this year. There are likely a few reasons behind this shift. One is that several recent PlayStation games have not sold well on PC. A faction within PlayStation has also expressed concern that releasing their games on PC risks damaging the console's brand and will hurt sales of the PlayStation 5 and its successors, according to the people familiar with Sony's inner workings. For decades, Sony's tactic of selling PlayStations was to keep tentpole franchises exclusive to its own console. In 2020, it pivoted and began bringing games to personal computers via Steam. Since then, the company has put most of its bigger franchises on PC, such as God of War and The Last of Us. But the strategy has been muddled and confused many players. Most PC releases arrived months or years after the games came to PlayStation. The cadence was never consistent, and the announcements appeared to be haphazard. The company also upset PC players by asking them to create PlayStation Network accounts to access many of the games. Now Sony is looking to take a more straightforward approach, going back to console exclusives. Sony's two rivals in the console space have taken different paths. Nintendo has released almost all of its games solely on its own Switch hardware, while Microsoft has turned into a multi-platform publisher, releasing everything on PC and many games on PlayStation. Another factor behind Sony's pivot may be Microsoft's next Xbox, which is rumored to use Windows and be capable of playing PC games. Some executives at PlayStation may not be thrilled with the prospect of one of the company's flagship games, like God of War, running on the next Xbox console. One important piece of context here is that when someone buys a PlayStation, Sony doesn't just get their $500+. The company also gets 30% of everything they buy on the PlayStation Store. In other words, Sony makes the most money by getting as many people as possible on its consoles.
Thank you for that, Reed. Let's get this first comment out of the way here. A super chat from Mikey B07. $5 super chat. Thank you so much, sir. Sony going exclusive is taking on Steam/Valve, not Xbox. They will lose. They will lose in the long term. We elder emos aren't cool. Time has caught us kids. Want PC. Man, oh man. Yeah, I know. I feel it in my bones. Kyle Stevenson, what do you think? Is this play more of a dig at Steam/Steam OS, or is this them thinking, hey, maybe we can take a few Xbox fans that may exodus from that console, so we could take more console, share? I don't know. What are you thinking about this move?
Honestly, my first thought didn't go to any of that. My first thought was like, okay, well, a countdown has just started to when we get the post on Blue Sky or Twitter of PlayStation closing Nixes. Because like, what are they gonna do now? What games are they gonna port? Are they gonna be a support studio again?
Yeah.
Which is sure cool, but Nixes, they're pretty good at what they do, I think. So my first thought went there. My second thought is like, I don't necessarily love this idea. Again, I don't know the money sharing part of it and how much stake that like Steam takes from sales, but at the end of the day, all the games that made the way over have already maximized their profit on the console side of things. So in our eyes, what we've always said is like, oh, cool, this is a way to get more money in to fund the next game, to right. fund marketing, to help keep things afloat. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It doesn't feel like a smart move, but it's still kind of like fresh in my eyes. So
yeah. I think a lot of people worry about Nexus. I totally understand. I think they're in the safe. I think they can do more. I think they're, support studios, throw them onto some remasters here, there. Apparently, Marathon just got rated for PS4 and Xbox One. So like, there's a lot of avenues Nexus can go if they choose. So I think they have a lot of maneuverability.
But we also thought, or at least Bluepoint was safe.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm just trying to keep an open mind.
I know.
No, but I totally hear what you say there. To answer like Mikey's question, I don't know. Like, what do you think? You think this is a dig at Steam, a battle that they'll eventually lose, or do you think that this is a dig at Xbox? Or you know what? Let's just throw Nintendo in the mix. Nobody talks about them. They should.
I think I don't know if I said it this weekend when we were all together, or if I said it last show, but I wonder how much of this is kind of learning from Xbox's mistakes, for lack of a better word.
Sure.
Because I personally don't mind that Xbox is other places, but
Same.
Xbox started putting their games on multiple platforms, and then after that, Sony started doing not other platforms, but putting more of a push for PC. So I assumed it was kind of in response to that, like, oh, if we want to compete with them now, we kind of have to have our games in more places, and we're not going to put them on Xbox, but let's at least put them on PC. And then when they saw it kind of blow up potentially for Xbox and all the shakeups happening in Xbox and people saying, oh, they're not doing this now, and Asha's saying this quote and that quote, maybe they're like, wait, maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe that's not going to be some competition that we need to worry about. And I could also see like them putting them on PC as a test too. Like, let's put them on PC for a while, see how much money it actually makes us. And
Sure.
obviously, if we make enough money, the shareholders are going to be happy and we'll keep them there. But if we're not making enough extra money, maybe it's not worth it for us to put our energy there. So I could see that being the case. Like, if, as they said in the article, if they weren't making as much money as they hoped, okay, we did our test and we found out it's not worth it for us. We have to pay for this port. We have to pay for it to be here. We're not making enough money to justify the cost that it's going to take for us to do that. Let's not focus our energy there. So I kind of think it's probably more so that like they did it as a temporary test. I am a person who values consistency. Not that you could tell from my reaction in my gaming channel recently, but I always am like, if you want people to keep returning and you want people to do this, you have to be consistent. And no offense, Sony, but you are not consistent with those PC releases. Like I said in the article, sometimes it was a year, sometimes it was 6 months, sometimes it was multiple years, sometimes it was like, are we getting this or are we not? If you wanted to genuinely be successful on PC, I think you needed to come out with a blanket statement like, okay, games are going to come out 1 year, a year and a half after on PC so that people know what to expect. And I do think that possibly hurt them because that's just my strategy with things. So
Sure.
therefore it must be everybody's. But like I said, I do think possibly they were testing it. Let's see how much money we actually get from it. Is it worth it for our brand and for our company to put these there? And it seems like they found that it wasn't. I'm not necessarily upset about it. I'm not a PC player. It doesn't impact me. But I also don't know if I believe that they're like, people are going to play our games on an Xbox if the next X. I don't think that that was a deciding factor. They might not have liked it, but I don't think that that was the final straw that like made them decide not to put it on PC.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to this. I think first off, like what games are left? Let's be real. Like it's all the PS4 games and some of the PS5 games, and they canceled that Ghost of Yotei port. So I think part of it was PlayStation looking at the PlayStation 6 and going, okay, things are gonna get hairy here. If we're making, like a handheld console, someone's gonna pull up, God forbid, let's say, Ratchet and Clank on the ROG Ally X2 versus the PlayStation 6 handheld. And what if it runs it better? Right. And I think that's a bad look for them if they're trying to, showcase this next hardware. So as hardware gets more ambiguous, I think they want something that makes them different and sets them apart. And I think they think that exclusives are going to help them in that regard. I also think if you're Sony, their vagueness is also their strength, right? Because you don't have too many quotes, Herman, where they kind of step on the rake, right? Where like, I remember when Herman Hulse first announced the PC ports, he's like, hey gang, just to let you guys know, we're experimenting here. We don't know where this is going. We're just gonna see, what the audience feels about these games. They're not gonna be day one, blah blah blah. Like setting the tone of like we're just exploring, and I think that doesn't, it's a little different from hey, it's only 4 games, and then by the end of the year, it's every game, right? So I think PlayStation was legitimately testing out, hey, can we make money here? Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, can we convert people over to PlayStation? And I think their answer was not enough for it to really matter. So let's stop doing it. And I listen, at the end of the day, say what you will about exclusives. But I'm of the camp that they make your ecosystem more appealing. It's what sets that ecosystem differently from the others. We talk a lot about Xbox and Nintendo when we talk about exclusives, but just take a look at the PC side, right? You can't play Fortnite on Steam. That's for a reason. You can't play Half-Life, 2 or Half-Life Alyx on Epic Game Store. That is designed for a reason. You can't play Counter-Strike on, the Microsoft Store. It's through Steam. And that is what sets it apart from their competitors. And that's where people flock to. Xbox has a whole lot of problems, and half of them come in the form of a parent company that doesn't see the value in exclusives, only sees the value in a 30% revenue that no company can hit. That's unsustainable, unrealistic, all that jazz. That's kind of forced this company's hand to put their games over to other consoles, as to where you see someone like a Nintendo who is all on their lonesome. This is the only thing that they do, and because this is the only thing they do, they got to do it well. And that's why you get games like Mario that sells 25 million, Tears of the Kingdom 20 million. That's why you get Mario Kart World, not the best Mario Kart, but that's a system seller that sells Switch 2s. Right. And so for me, I just take a look at what exclusives truly mean in the long term. And they still mean a lot. Listen, I've seen, some folks in the chat on, PlayStation, it's a losing game because PC is the future. Part of me does believe that, right? I'm almost dropped my little fidget toy. Part of me does believe that to a certain extent. But I also take a look at how Nintendo navigates that space, because they're fighting the iPads and the iPhones. They're fighting, the leapfrogs, and they're doing a pretty damn good job. They have the second most selling console of all time. Their software still does really well. So I think there's always going to be a space for consoles. I think there's always going to be a space for PCs, dedicated hardware. And I think there's always going to be a space for exclusivity. I just don't. I don't buy the notion that, I don't know, that they don't matter, because they do. I don't think they matter to us, and this is where in my rant, I promise, because like we genuinely don't care. We just like to have fun with our games, but I don't know.
Is that really a big talking point about this? Are people saying they did this because they thought exclusives don't matter? Because we've been pro on the side of like exclusives do matter.
Right.
They do. Like, it matters for the people in the ecosystem. It mattered to me, right? It just the length of time of that exclusive just didn't matter to me, as long as there is some sort of exclusivity.
Yeah, I think it's a weird conversation online to navigate, because I think there's a lot of wish casting from like the Xbox camp of like, all right, Phil and Sarah are gone. We mourned them for long enough. Hey, Sasha, you said you heard us. Could you bring these games back, please? And so we have like this weird like narrative shift of like what exclusives matter, or exclusives matter, or do they not? And listen, at the end of the day, I think it's is the ecosystem accessible first, and then it's are there games that I really want to play on this thing? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's really turning people's eye.
The other thing that makes me excited, not the right word, right? But like hopeful with this is maybe the Sony brass, the PlayStation brass have sat down and were like, okay, if we are going to do this and really hammer home just how important exclusives are, we better damn well have a roadmap of exclusives that we're gonna have every year.
Yeah.
From first party stuff. It's like if exclusives matter and we want people here, we got to find a way where they are consistently coming out.
Well, I'll throw this over to you, Light. If exclusives matter and all that jazz, do we see Sony truly end the Jim Ryan era going, all right, this live service push was a botched job. Let's go back to single player games. Let's all of our studios, except for like Bungie, you guys do your Destiny 3, but everybody else on their single player project? Or do you think they are still like the cat chasing the laser pointer and they're running around chasing that live service games as service bullshit?
I want to say I think they're done, but unfortunately, I don't think they are. I think, I don't know. It's so hard to say, but we're getting a new Horizon live service game. We're like, and are they still doing the Horizon MMO? And like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure because clearly there is still room for live service games in our ecosystem because we are seeing successful live service games. The problem is there just are there's an oversaturation right now, and people have a hard time when you get into a live service game. Like we said before, you invest into that ecosystem and you are there. It's hard for you to leave that to go into a new one. So you have to have a perfect game that catches the internet's attention, that catches that has perfect gameplay, that people have no complaints about, that people aren't going to say is woke trash, that like you have to have it has to be perfect. You have to have all of these things for it to be successful. So when it is successful, it can be huge, but the odds of it being the success you want are very slim. The problem is they see what they can get if it is.
Yeah.
So I don't think we ever really see them stop trying to hit that, unfortunately. I think they're always going to try to catch that lightning in a bottle because they see what they can get from it. I don't know if that's going to be as prevalent of a push as we have been seeing, because I do think we kind of saw the crest of the wave, if you will, of them trying to catch the other games that were successful. We had a slew of games coming out all at the same time. And I do think we're maybe getting at the tail end of that. But I think we're always going to see, okay, now we're going to try this game. Okay, now we're going to try this game. And maybe it's 1 instead of 5 coming out at the same time. But I don't think they ever fully give up on that. Maybe just not as much of a push. And I could be way, way, way wrong. Nobody quote me on that. I don't know shit. Okay. I'm just saying people and companies like money, and they see what money they can get if they're successful, and they're always going to try to get that money. So I don't think they ever stop doing that.
100%. And I think this bleeds into our first question of the night. This comes from Katie, who writes to us, just like you can too. You head on over to the Trophy Room Discord server. You drop your question on the questions tab, and we answer them or have a chance to answer them on the show. Katie writes, hello, Trophy Room Trio. So not really a question per se, but can we all agree that it seems like these news stories this week, that these people hate making money, both of the Bloodborne decision and the PlayStation stopping the PC strategy? I feel both of these things are happening, fills their pockets with more money, and these CEOs and suits are not wanting money. Well, that doesn't sound right. What's going on with all these weird business maneuvers? Also, what do you think happens to Nixxes after all this news? As always, much love. So we talked about Nixxes, but Kyle, what is up with these weird business maneuvers, man? I feel like everybody's making them. Like PlayStation's like, hey, we're turning the faucet on for PC. Now we're turning it off, but only for live service games. You know, Xbox is like, hey, we're putting Halo on, PlayStation. And Nintendo's like, we're making a theme park in Universal Studios. All these things seem really weird. What's going on? Why are these companies seemingly making like these weird 180s?
I have a real answer for that.
Go for it.
But also, just a heads up, everyone in the live chat.
Yeah.
Okay. If this is your first time here, I see a lot of new names. I love having you here.
Yeah.
We celebrate games everywhere.
Yes.
We don't want anyone going out of business. We don't want anyone talking down about other platforms, whatever.
Sure.
So just, be kind to each other in chat. That's all I'm saying.
Except if they're playing the next playground, that thing needs to burn.
Joe.
Continue. Yes.
It's for toddlers. My 4-year-old loves it.
Oh, does she play on it?
There's a space for it. It's for
Does she play it?
children. Yes.
That's right. Goo goo gaga. These dumb kids with
Listen, you were just saying, raving about how smart my daughter is and saying it's so cool how she's a gamer. This is how you get them to start gaming.
Yeah.
All right. We start
You
hating
want you want console gamers, you want future PlayStation gamers. They got to start somewhere. They start with the next playground.
That's right. That's right. Okay, fine. Fair enough. Fine. All right. The next is okay, but the Ouya is trash. Kyle Stevenson, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the real reason is we're nearing the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah.
So that's why we're getting all this, is because the fiscal year is ending at the end of March in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So this is typically where all this stuff is coming out, and it seems like they are making some big changes, of course. Yeah. So this just seems to be the time of year where it makes sense for it, but it's weird how it seems every week it's trickling out instead of not all at once.
Yeah, and
I think that's the weird part here. So that's why, sure, it's still rumored but I think it'd be different if we got it all at once, right? So in the way that it's coming out like this, it feels like it is, to use a different term, which I don't believe. It's it feels like PlayStation's bleeding out. All these weird changes, all these big broad gestures. So it just feels weird every week. Something seems to happen, and I joked about it last week. I'll say it again. Something probably will happen tomorrow morning after we're done recording.
No, dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's happened the last 4 weeks. What do you want me to do?
I know. No, truthfully, I mean, here's the real answer for you. Okay, and this is it. No one knows what the is going on anymore. No, nobody knows where the solid footing and the solid ground is. No one investments in video games is crawled. I just saw one of these I think Circana put out something which if you take out subscriptions and all this stuff, that gaming purchases has pretty much stagnated this year over year. It's rough out there for these companies to make money, and so these companies are trying whatever which way they can to make a buck or make themselves more valuable for the future, right? And I think that is what PlayStation's doing, is okay, so how do we protect this investment just in case PC eats our lunch or whatever have you, or starts eating out our market share in a real way, because Sony at large depends on PlayStation to survive. So how do we protect this investment? Because it seems like all these other investments in gaming aren't going well. And that's the same question over there at Microsoft, right? It's hey, how do we protect our investment of all these software and all of our IP? What do we do? That's Ash's job to solve. And for Nintendo, they're answering the question of how do we get, Mikey in the chat writes, right? The point is, we're old. iPad kids don't want consoles. They want PCs. Everyone in this chat is over 28 years old. We're dinosaurs.
Speak for yourself. I'm 18.
First off, I smoke real cigarettes.
I just got my driver's license yesterday.
Exactly. I got tipsy at a hula hands. But that's Nintendo's problem. Hey, how do I convince a little kid they don't want an iPad? They want a Nintendo Switch. And you see it, they're investing in preschool toys of Mario's face, so that they recognize Mario's face, and they go, when they grow up, oh, I know this makes me happy. Oh, it's on this thing. I'll beg my mommy and daddy to get me it. That's how this works. So all of them are very aware of gaming is entering an era of more uncertainty than ever, and everyone's really nervous. So yeah, I mean, listen, I know my Gen Z coworkers, right? When I talk to them, yeah, they're all gaming on PC, and they're all buying games that are like $8, the friend slop games, because they're cheap. And so what these companies really ought to learn is you got to lower the barrier, and you got to eat costs there in order to survive, and you got to bring more games over, but be smarter of how you curate them. And listen, it's a delicate dance. I don't know, all the answers to it, but that's what I feel in my chest when I see this. Is like they gotta move somewhere, because everything's kind of shaking around them. Nissa Howard writes, look at all platforms, including Steam. What are the top 10 games? They aren't single player. This is why the industry is failing. I mean, that's the other thing, right? These black hole games take people in and they keep them there. Roblox has more active users, I think, than Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation combined. Man, are we gonna be talking about one day a podcast in Roblox? Who knows?
No, because Roblox is gonna get shut down for pedophilia rings.
Yeah.
So
well, listen, if the world is showing us anything, you can redact a whole lot of stuff.
I've said it before. This is for serious talk. If you have children, please do not let them play Roblox. Or if you do, you are playing it right there with them, because there is a lot of scary shit there, and you do not trust your child to just play it without your oversight. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
All right, Tristan Wonderland writes, "Hey friends, I know this might I know it might sound fanboy in me, but I can see why PlayStation is possibly pulling their single player games out of PC. Can't give you the best reason other than they probably weren't making what they wanted anymore, so it may not have been worth it anymore. As you guys say, I definitely agree, exclusives matter, and I like the direction. Do you guys agree?" Yeah, that's a great question, Tris. Do you guys now like the direction of like, hey, listen, dedicated hardware, dedicated software for that hardware? Do you like this direction, or would you like them to open the doors wide and put their games out there a year afterwards or day and date? I don't know.
Kyle, I mean, I was in my younger years, I was like, it's got to be on PlayStation, nowhere else, right? I was a terrible console war fanboy, but now as I've gotten older, I think PlayStation's still my go-to. There's still plenty of games that I have not played because I'm waiting for a PlayStation version. I'm looking at you, Hades 2. We'll get to it later, but there was a game shown in the indie world where PlayStation has not been confirmed. Drinkbox, what are you doing to me? So like, obviously that's the place I want to play. So when it comes to exclusives, as long as a game is an exclusive for like, I would say up to a year, I'd be way okay with the game going elsewhere. It's just because, like, if you are that into the ecosystem, you are that excited for a game, you will most likely play it within that year. So, and I really think that a lot of people need to wrap their head around of, like, this is just a thing you own and that you play. It's not like the game goes elsewhere, you're okay.
No.
Like, everything's gonna be fine.
I need this, Kyle.
We're not gonna axe kick our desk because Horizon is on PC, right? Like, that's kind of how. Yeah. Like Nisa says, like, I get to play South of Midnight soon.
Awesome. Yeah.
We get to play Starfield soon. Like, it's on our system of choice. So yeah, that's how I view it. It's just they do matter. They do. It's just my opinion of it being like it's only there has lessened big time.
And I get read this first. That's more important.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mikey B writes in another $5 super chat. I don't want to be negative about gaming, but we're in a weird spot. When we were kids, we were the audience of single player games. Now we're an outlier. Man, but how much simpler was it,
I don't know.
You're a
It's Resident
kid.
Evil 9 Requiem. It's doing pretty well.
You're a kid. You're watching the kids next door. You're right. It was the kids next door where they're all spies. Watching the Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob, Teen Titans. You were playing Time Splitters 2. Things were great. Your parents were freaking out about the Iraq War. It was bliss. It was bliss. Good times. But yeah, no, we are the outlier. That's one thing we do have to remember is like at the end of the day, we're the outliers in all of this. And, you know, to keep that in perspective, you're right, Mikey. I'm sorry, like, what were you saying before I went on that weird rant?
I was just gonna say, like, I get why people feel like, especially, I've seen a lot of Xbox players feel like brand identity has been lost. I don't know why I said identity like that. Identity. Because it used to be like, okay, Xbox games on the Xbox, PlayStation games on the PlayStation. You've got your blue games, you got your green games. You know where they are, you know where you lie. That's the brand. And things are kind of wishy-washy, wibbly-wobbly, funky
Timey-wimey.
now.
Yep.
So I get why people feel like brand identity, it's important for exclusives for that brand identity. But I also think it's important to remember that these companies are not changing things on a whim. They are changing things for a reason, and that reason is they are not making the money that they want to be making. So I take the stance of I'm okay with you doing whatever you need to stay in business, because regardless of what console warriors want to say, competition is good, competition is healthy, competition is necessary. If you don't want our gaming ecosystem to fully collapse, we need somebody who is an actual competitor against PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's not just Nintendo, because they are not the same thing. I love Nintendo. They are not the same.
Yeah.
And the rules that apply for PlayStation and Sony do not apply to Nintendo. That's just they're their own thing. And I don't mean that in a negative way. They're just like they're their own competition, really. So I'm okay with doing whatever they need to do to stay in business. Yes, obviously, like it's nice to know, okay, my PlayStation games are on my PlayStation, my Xbox games are on my Xbox, but I just want them to be around. I just want them to survive. I just want them to make games. I want them to have studios that are open and not see all my friends being laid off and not having to worry about, am I ever going to play this game again because that studio is closed because Xbox is struggling or PlayStation is struggling, or it's just we are seeing the industry shift in real time, and it's hard to live through it because you have no idea where it's going to go until you get there. They, like you said, they don't know where they're going until they get there. Yep. Everybody's figuring it out. They're just trying to survive and find their current version of success. Yes, newer gamers are gaming in different ways. I don't even think that stays, though. Everything is cyclical. Everything is trends. Right now, Roblox and Fortnite and maybe PC is a little bit bigger. That doesn't mean it's going to stay that way, especially with current issues in the market that we are seeing.
Yeah.
That can change very quickly. And we might see a resurgence of consoles. We might see something completely different. We might see major growth in only mobile. We might you just don't know where it's going to go. And these companies need to do what they need to do to stay alive. If that means exclusives, fine. If that means everywhere, fine. Just do what you need to do so that you're still here.
The one thing, I was trying to find it, like the Matt Piscatella post of like, hey, actually, you know what? Actually, Kyle, I'll hand this one over to you. Are you concerned, while I pull this quote up, that PlayStation is going to look for money in the PlayStation ecosystem where they can, we talked about it last week of like, hey, we're going to try to hit up our community for more cash in interesting ways. Are you concerned that with the, that PlayStation has to find that $2 billion somewhere to make up for the losses of PC? I'm sorry, I butchered that. I'm out of it.
You're asking if
I need an orange juice.
If I'm worried,
like, are they going? Yeah, are they going to raise the prices of, let's say, like, PS
Plus,
PS Plus and stuff like that? Yeah.
Absolutely will. Yeah.
God damn it.
I mean, how else would they, if that is the game plan, what could they change to make that up?
Yeah.
Right? Are they going to put games at $90 at launch? No, because no one would buy them. Right now, the $70 and sometimes $80 is already a lot for people to buy. So I think PS Plus is the easy answer and probably the answer that they should do, especially because you need PS Plus for online play.
Yeah.
And we just talked about single players might not be single player games might not be everyone's forte, but they are playing multiplayer games that if you want them on your ecosystem, you need PS Plus. So that's an easy way for them to make up the money. Also for as much as take it outside of games, as much as Netflix raising prices, how many people are still subbed to Netflix?
Right.
With every price increase, just because they enjoy it. So I don't think they raising them is going to cause a mass exodus of people leaving the program. It's just going to be all right, my hobby is getting a little bit more expensive.
Sure.
But it's a price willing to pay in order to what Light is saying, which beautifully said, by the way, Tegan.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Just we want to make sure games are in a good spot so they continue to happen. And so that's just what we got to do in order to ensure that our favorite hobby stays well and healthy for as long as we live.
Yeah, I think it sucks. I think that, I found the quote. It's the quote from CFO Lin Tao's comments during Sony's February 5th earnings call. And the quote is, "Our hardware sales strategy can be adjusted flexibly, and we intend to minimize the impact of the increased memory costs on this segment going forward by prioritizing monetization of the install base." Very interesting, going to try to goose the ARPU, the average revenue per user, even more. How is the question? And I think, I don't know. I think part of it is Sony saying not all money is good money, and we need to protect the sanctity that is PlayStation and, the ecosystem at large. But to me, listen, I've seen a lot of people overreact. He says that I don't shout him out enough, but my friend X Bacon Gaming on our DMs, he was crying all sorts of tears. And I just wanted to wipe him away. I said, it's going to be okay. He was very upset. He's like, I'm not going to buy Marathon because of this. And I'm like, buddy, I don't think you ever were. He's like, I'm going to, it's like Sony doesn't want my money. It's like they actually said they don't. So it's one of those things where Sony's being very protective. Will they go back and change this in the future? Absolutely, they will. I don't think this is a forever move. They will. What Light said, everything's cyclical, man. This isn't even this isn't the first time PlayStation's ported over games to other platforms. I remember Sean Layden talking about it, porting over some PS1 games to I think the PC or whatever have you. So it's these things happen, they come, they go. When we will still see them again, nobody knows. That said, that's all that we got for that.
Real quick though,
Yes.
Jeff in chat, and again, this is we don't really do the console stuff here. So Jeff, that was not at you. That was just bad timing. Sorry. Jeff says Microsoft needs to pull Game Pass, but it's too far for that now. I really think Xbox brand is dead. I don't think Sony has been owning that since Xbox TV. I will say, I know people high up at Xbox that I have had events with and things like that where I've had very good conversations with them. Obviously I can't say who, but I know for a fact that Game Pass is a good revenue earner for Xbox, and it's one of the things keeping Xbox afloat. So I don't really know where it was said that Game Pass is losing the money and Game Pass needs to end. But Game Pass is, if they were not lying, which I have no reason to assume they were lying, because that would make sense in the context of the event and the things that we were doing. Game Pass is profitable for them. It wasn't at first, and maybe that's where that kind of mindset set in for people. However, it is now. So if they were to pull Game Pass, then we're going to see Xbox die. But Game Pass is profitable for them. I know that some developers within Xbox say that they don't like it. That's a different conversation. But Game Pass for Xbox is profitable. if this person was telling me the truth.
I will add by saying this. The plan's a plan until it's not the plan. Right? So yeah, no, is Game Pass okay, I don't want to get down this road. I don't want to get down this road. I'll just say this. No, I won't even say anything. I will agree, but I will say the plan's a plan until it's not the plan. And I think Ash's predicament is Xbox doesn't have a lot of runway left in terms of like how to pull more revenue out for Microsoft to be happy with. And I think the state of Game Pass right now in its current pricing and its current frame is putting Xbox in a troubled position. So I think like the addition of Call of Duty and Activision and the Blizzard stuff, I think the price of like $30, I think they need to kind of revamp the program and make it so that, yes, this thing's here and I want to subscribe to it, while also saying, and I also want to purchase these games from, you know, like if you took Call of Duty out of Game Pass, what are you really losing? You know, stuff like that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that's not to say like I wasn't saying that to say that Game Pass is perfect by any means.
No,
I get sick of seeing the same line that Game Pass is not profitable, because that's not the case. Yes, they might be running out of room for them to get money out of Game Pass. They might have hit the threshold, but at this moment currently, Game Pass is one of the few things that's working for them.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say what Asha needs to do or what she's going to do. We don't know what she's going to do. We don't know what she's going to do.
Next
people
week
can have right.
Yeah.
Unless you know Asha, you don't know what she's doing.
Yeah. Well, listen, she has my name graffitied on her profile, so pretty much in the know. Ains. I was joking about that. I made a funny little joke, and people were very upset at me about it. But like, yeah, Asher could come out tomorrow. Our games are exclusive again. You Sony dorks. If you want Halo, go play it on this box. Oh, you want Forza? It's like, no. I think Xbox's problem is they need more money for coming from their software, coming from these developers. That 30% revenue hit for studios is real. And I think it's way harder for Xbox. This is my final point. It's really hard for Xbox to pull the rug from under PlayStation, because Forza Horizon 5, a 3-4-year-old game, sold 5 million units on PlayStation 5 in less than a year. It's way easier for PlayStation to pull, a Spider-Man 2, because it only saw around 40,000 concurrents, so maybe a couple 100,000 in sales, right, in its lifespan. So it's really easy for PlayStation to go, you know what? Yeah, I know it's a part of our revenue, it's only like 3%. Whereas Xbox's, largest revenue earner right now is on PlayStation. For the month of December, 64% of the money that came in for Microsoft Gaming came from PlayStation. So it is so much harder for them to turn the release, valve, tight, because that's where are you going to find 64%? You could find 3% if Marathon hits. You can't find 64% if, Call of Duty's down year over year. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where each company navigates. I'm very interested to see Ash's vision for Xbox, because it could very much be like, nah, no more open console. We're going straight back to exclusives. It's going to hurt us for a few years, but we're going to protect the sanctity of Xbox. And it very much could be, Xbox, the toaster is the Xbox. Whatever plays Game Pass or whatever, it's a Fire Stick. Whatever it is, it's about the platform, it's about the cloud, or it's about AI. And we just won't know until we know. Okay, gang. Time for some flashes. Gotta go fast. Oh my God, they're right behind me. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I shouldn't have done that. I had a panic attack 45 minutes ago. Anyway, Assassin's Creed
2 hours ago, Joe. 2 hours
Sorry. Sorry. Time's an enigma. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced finally confirmed. Quote, speculation around Assassin's Creed is not new, but it's worth repeating. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Well, except in this case, some whispers have a little more wind in their sails. keep your spyglass on the horizon.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Oh, I have a feeling. I don't know.
What are we playing this bad boy?
Skull and Bones 2? Great question. End of March.
How
What?
dare you?
Skull and Bones 2. This is obviously Skull and Bones.
Oh,
Assassin's Creed DLC.
the joke went way over my head.
That's right, you're right. Light, you're a huge Assassin's Creed girly.
Mm-hmm.
Does this do anything for you? Edward Kenway? Oh my goodness.
I love how he froze like that. That was perfect. For me, he froze like this.
God bless.
I played Black Flag for the first time last year, I think, and loved it. I didn't put as much energy into it as I think I would have because the rumors were already going around that the remake was going to be made, and the rumor was that it's coming out and shadow dropping that year. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to beat the story. I'm going to do some exploration that I need to do, but I'm not going to go full send like I do in the other Assassin's Creed games because I was like, I'm going to replay it when the remake drops on the channel. So I'm really excited for this. I did really enjoy Black Flag. There was a lot of really cool mechanics there. It was a great story, and I loved it. It felt old though, like it was showing its age for sure. So the fact that it's getting a remake, potentially speculation, is really, really, really cool. In terms of when I think it's going to come out, I'm going to say April or May.
Ooh. I'm going to say it's going to be May. What about you, Kyle?
June.
It's a good month. Honestly.
Just for shits, I'll say April. Joe, you May. You June, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right,
Part of me is like, we'll see it at SGF and it shadow drops.
Oh, fair point.
SGF Shadow Drops.
I hope not, because
Okay.
then I can't play it.
Well, yeah, I know it will suck. It will
I'm
suck.
hoping we'll be there. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope it's not a holiday. It can't be a holiday game. GTA is out. No,
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that long. It's been rumored too long.
Forever,
It's been.
yeah.
It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this kind of sucks. 3 months after closing the Game Awards, High Guard is officially shutting down. This comes from Andy Robinson. They have a whole quote. Thank you for the passion, all that jazz. Yeah, Tencent pulled its funding from this game. It closes down on March 12th. This is what we're talking about when it comes to like live service games. It's, hey man, you can't just be good. You can't be, it's a fine game. You have to be like, this is incredible type of experience.
I granted, it's a most likely, a monetary thing, but like, I am so sick and tired. And Tegan, I think you said something similar recently. I'm so sick and tired of studios and execs not letting a game go through those downtimes. And like, let it exist for a little bit. Let them reiterate. Again, money, it's tough. At 100 million %, I get it. But after 3 months and it's gone,
Yeah,
that's sad to me. That's really, because how many other games, given that time, finds its footing. Also, I don't really like that you're threatening me in chat, Joe. That's not fun.
well, it's up to if the chat wants to hit the like, share, subscribe button, they can, or he gets a Switch.
Switch to? Sure.
No, like a
Don't hit the like button.
They ain't go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just I don't know. I really wish there was some more leeway, a leash given to devs to allow them to find their footing a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Here's an important one. Sorry. I read this one. I thought it was going to be a mean comment, but yeah, I just wanted to say I listened to Bad Bit on Mooch's show, and he swore up and down that Sony was going to go day and date on PC. Truly worth it, man. There we go. So, you were wrongs, brother. Oh, sir. Thank you. Glad you took the out. Yeah, no, I definitely. That's the one thing, because like I know in November everybody was like, I heard rumblings. I'm like, you probably didn't, and I was wrong. And it's all right. We got to admit when we're wrong about things. A lot of people are like, they really like get into the trenches about, yeah, I was wrong. Take the L.
Well, because like we said before, no, you can literally be the head of the company and you still don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
Yeah.
100%.
And we are not. We just know people who know people. Like, we are
Yeah.
third-hand, tertiary knowers of knowledge, okay? Like,
100%.
we don't know shit over here. All we're
100%.
doing is making educated guesses based off the info we have.
We're not in the
No.
room where it happens.
You got to take the L when you got to take it. I take a... Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop that right there before that gets turned somewhere.
There you go.
I saw where you're going.
I was like, hard stop, baby. Hit the brakes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, we gotta listen because a lot of people they dig their heels into it. It's okay. It's all right. But yeah, no, for High Guard, nah, man. I don't know how much time you give a game that has 500 people playing it at once.
Well,
Like-
but also, like, okay, it came out.
Yeah.
And then shortly thereafter, you have these games that are big games to take people away from it. So it's like bad timing, but also maybe people will go back to it. Like, you had the marathon server slam thing that people, not a lot of people, but some people tried. You had Resident Evil, which apparently everybody and their mother was playing. Also, not that it's necessarily the same audiences, but World of Warcraft Midnight release, pre-release early content is all last week, this week, the past couple weeks. So like, there's a lot going on right now. So it's a free to play game. Just let it be for a little bit longer. Let it find its footing. Keep making those small changes, and it, because you're never going to see success if you can't cancel it that fast.
No, I and as much as I agree with you, it's like, but also how much money are you bringing in? Not for the investors, but just to keep the lights on when you have like sub 3,000 people playing the game. It's like
You have like 2 employees. They need 1 light bulb. You're fine.
it's like you got healthcare, you got all that stuff. I understand where you guys are saying that or getting at. I think at the end of the day, truthfully, and I don't want to hit the dead horse here or whatever, beat the dead horse, is like, I just don't think it was a good idea. And I think people just bounced off of it. And, when you get you're right. When you get Arc Raiders, when you have, actually truly Arc Raiders, Battlefield, taking so much of the conversation, it's like, and these are unique ideas, at least to the mainstream of like Arc Raiders selling 14 million units in 3 months. It's nuts. How do you do it if you're High Guard? You think you have an original idea, but a lot of it's just a hodgepodge of like MOBAs and other things. I don't know. And I don't really necessarily buy gamers were toxic and that made it, not successful, because look at Marathon, right? Marathon is right now the second most pre-ordered game behind Resident Evil on Steam, and so many people want to make that console war fodder or weird woke fodder. So like, to me, I just think if the game's good, it's going to find its audience. Game wasn't good, it didn't find its audience. When you start off at 97,000 and a month afterwards you're at 500,
Sure. I just don't like the optics of like future, kids, whatever, that want to get into game dev, afraid to take swings.
Sure.
Because it's going to fail so quickly if people don't hop on.
Sure. Yeah, I get it, but I think it's not more so like game, like, people are going to take less chances in game dev. I think it's chances like these are not worth taking. Like I would have rather
but that's
have
the current
this...
state of everything, right? Everyone's trying to chase a game where it is like your day-to-day multiplayer thing.
Yeah.
And also, but also too, don't a lot of times these games release like with the like, what did Hades do for? It was like Hades 2 was out for like a year, but it wasn't actually out.
Early access.
Early access.
Yeah.
This would have been a perfect game to have early access for like a
100%.
year. Take the feedback, listen to it, change things, and then maybe you drop down to 500 players, but who cares? It's still early access and people are still talking about it. And then you're not like losing your funding because it's technically early access. Then you launch it after that, and then you can can it if it still fails.
1,000,000%.
I think the reason why, like, Kyle, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I feel frustrated is that I see so many people say there were so many great ideas here. I just wish they could tweak this and tweak this and tweak this.
Yeah.
And then you have an amazing game. If they had time to make those tweaks, look at Cyberpunk, different type of game, obviously.
Yeah.
Awful game on launch for many people. They made a couple tweaks. Now it's an amazing, amazing RPG.
Yeah.
Like, so I just wish that their rollout was different. I wish they stuck to their guns and shadow dropped instead of letting Jeff Keighley have them in the show. I wish they maybe were a little less cocky and did some early access so they could test it and test the waters and see how it went.
Yep.
And you know, I wish some different choices were made, but I also don't love that you just give up that fast either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the golden child for that example, it's like, look at No Man's Sky. That game was awful.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Absolutely atrocious. I was a day oneer. I hated that game. And then they let it breathe, and look at it now. It is one of the biggest games out there, and they are still supporting it. So, like, I get it. I understand money, bad ideas, bad time frame. I want games to be given a space to adapt and change.
Yeah. I agree with all that. I would say a little different for No Man's Sky, because that was like a team of 20, and this is like a team of 100. You know what I mean?
Not anymore.
Well, of No Man's Sky or no,
this one.
Of High Ground. Yeah. No, I mean, but I'm just saying team sizes where it's like No Man's Sky had the ability to kind of fail for a few, flop around, and find its footing because of Team Sky's also like the funding from PlayStation and kind of helping advertise the game originally. I think probably helped that game a little bit more. Okay, gang. Let's stop talking about this. Okay, I want to talk about the future. I want to reach for the stars and feel something again. Gang, Starfield PS5 release date, price, and additions all leak online ahead of the official announcement. This comes from Winsley Yin-Poole over at IGN. Bill Kuhn has revealed the release date for Starfield on PlayStation 5 ahead of the official announcement from Bethesda and Microsoft. In a post, Bill Kuhn said Starfield will release on PS5 on April 7th. And it will indeed have a physical edition. Well, this changes the game. It will cost. They gave me pounds and funny money. I believe it'll cost $50 out on the 7th. Let's freaking go! Give me a steelbook case. Light, are you jumping back into Starfield when it comes to PlayStation next month?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am. I really enjoyed my time with Starfield. I had a great time with it. I did a couple loop-de-loops in the game, and the only reason I didn't like continue playing it was because I was hoping it would come to PlayStation so I could get the platinum. I have almost all of the achievements on it anyways, and I don't even really care about getting achievements, so that's saying something. I think I only had like 2 left. So I'm really excited to play again. I'm really excited to get the platinum and maybe get a second round of new merch because I missed some of the merch last time it launched.
Yes. Oh, yes. Give me a sweater. It's sweater weather. Let's go. Kyle Stevenson, you buy this game day one?
Yeah.
Hell yes.
As long as I can afford it.
All right, fair enough. I mean, big save. I don't know if I'll have a job tomorrow. Yeah, no, awesome news. Again, just the state of things, you know. Kyle Stevenson, okay, here's one. He said indie world announcements that matter to PlayStation owners.
Well, we're skipping the PS Plus monthly games, or was that?
Oh, sorry, week? That was last week, but they're officially out now. Go download them.
Okay, yeah.
This comes from a site called Six Juan.
Yeah,
Indie?
just a little tiny little site that you should go for your indie news and reviews and stuff. You know, maybe a Planet Lana 2 review went live today on 618.com. I don't know. But yeah, the indie world happened from Nintendo. 15 minutes. They showed 18 games. Hey, PlayStation, I don't know, take a page out of this book. Let's do indies like this, please, for yours. Please. Just a small little show. Highlight indies that come to PlayStation. But here's a couple of things that they revealed there that is also important for PlayStation owners. So I think I talked about it last week. I played the demo for Dench Attack, the train Tony Hawk game. That is coming to PlayStation 5 on June 17th, which is very exciting. Moonlighter 2, the Endless Vault, confirmed that 1.0 is coming later this year. A game called Widow is also coming to PS5. It's like a diorama 3D coloring book. It looks very, very cute. That is coming. No date yet other than this summer. a game that was often overlooked by many different people in 2024. It was an Indie Game Awards nominee. It's called Mini Shoot Adventures. It shadow dropped yesterday. It is a twin stick shooter, but there are dungeons. It's like old school Zelda. You uncover the map, gain abilities to unlock different things. It's very, very, very good. So all console versions are out yesterday, but we're a PlayStation show first and foremost. So PS5. What's the other? Oh, Mixtape got a date. Hell yeah. Let's go. 4 days before my birthday. Happy birthday to me. May 7th. Cannot wait for that one. It's one of my favorite demos from SGF last year. I can't wait. Hopefully I like it better than the Artful Escape, because didn't like their other game very much, but this one looks great. Awesome. I'm a little bummed that Drinkbox's next game, Blighted, so far is just Switch 2 and PC this fall.
Oh.
We'll see. A fun little fact that Mike and I remembered during the Indie World yesterday. Mike was and if you don't know Mike, he's my partner over at 61 Indie. He was the first one outside of the studio to play the game at SGF. I was the second person outside of the studio to play that game, which is very, very cool. So I love Drinkbox, so that's very cool. Grave Seasons confirmed for this summer.
I played that.
PS5? Yeah, that one's cool. Like, do you remember, or you want to talk about that game a little bit?
Sure. So if you are a fan of Stardew Valley or games along that line, or those lines, Grave Seasons is very similar to that. You are basically restarting your household farm, but it's a horror version of that, essentially. So you have a secret history that I won't say because spoilers, I don't want to ruin that for you, but your history is a secret that you don't want people to know about when you move into town. And then there's also some darker secrets. You're not the biggest secret in the town. There is like a werewolf storyline. I was using my little hoe to get some crops and I found a finger. And so you're thinking there's a dead body somewhere. So it's imagine Stardew. I almost said Starfield. Imagine Stardew horror, but like cutesy, cozy horror, not horror.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm not a farming kind of game person, but after playing this demo at SGF as well last year, I'm very, very into the whole vibe. So that's very fun. That's this summer at some point. Unrail 2 is coming to PS5 later this year. It's a co-op game where you have to keep your train moving.
That looks so cute.
Yeah, it looks very chaotic. I knew nothing about it, but apparently the first one is kind of like a cult hit amongst people. So that's very, very cool. Shout out to Toem 2. Toem 2 coming to PS5 this summer as well. Toem 1 is available now. Please play it. It is so cute. You're trying to find things in the world, take pictures, and it's really, really pretty in the black and white style. It's very, very cool. Coming April 30th in Konbini, One Storm, Many Stories. You are in charge of a convenience store set in the 1990s Japanese-inspired town. Very cool. It was a big hit during Next Fest last week, so very cool that has a date. Outbound, April 23rd, also coming to PS5. Very cozy, upgrading your town, your little cozy garden, or not town, your van, your camper van, and just going around with friends. That's really, really cool. The spiritual successor to Patapon,
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Officially announced for PS4 and PS5, July 16th, which is very, very cool. So
looks beautiful.
Yeah. Big indies at PlayStation Day yesterday during Indie World. So very, very cool.
Hey gang, let's turn a segment that I love very much into just what we've been playing one game, which shout out to Resident Evil Requiem. It has sold 5 million units in 5 whole days. My word. I'm so happy for this team because I love this game so much. All 3 of us have played it. Kyle, you have beaten it. So I go for it. Take it away, sir. What are your thoughts of Resident Evil Requiem?
What if I told you I've beaten it twice now.
I love this for you, buddy.
Because when we played up at Tegan's, it was on Dan's account. So I was like, I gotta get the trophies on my own. So let me speed run it through it. Still nowhere close to the 4-hour trophy, let me tell you.
That's insane. That is insane.
I skipped all the
actually.
cutscenes and everything, and I still ended the game at like 8 hours. Like, how am I gonna cut that in half?
I think it took me a whole hour just to get past the big guy with the cleaver in the kitchen.
Yeah. Resident Evil Requiem is really freaking good. It is, as many people have said. Also, shout out to Capcom for providing us a code. That is huge.
100%. Thank you, guys.
A lot of people have said it feels like a greatest hits of Resident Evil, and it does. There's a lot of things, a lot of hints at other games. You have your first-person survival horror like 7 and Village, which I love. You got your Leon Kennedy action-packed RE4 remake and RE2 gameplay, which is also really, really great. So it's a mix of everything, and it does it all really well. I think with most Resident Evil games that I have played, I have not played them all, but recently with this new era of Resident Evil, there always seems to be a moment in an RE game where I'm like, all right, it's dragging on a little bit. I did not feel that with Requiem. There's some things that I not necessarily love. I think some of the later game stuff is just like padding for padding's sake. But it's me just saying that, it's still so cool, the areas that we are in and the things that we are doing, and the things that pop up, story beats and whatnot. I think, as Joe's playing the trailer right now, I think Grace is one of the best Resident Evil characters in the whole series as her first, entry into it. Grace is incredible, and Grace being brought to life by her voice actress, she absolutely crushes it. As much as Leon is incredible, Grace's performance is awesome. And truly playing in first person as Grace, it felt so fun and harrowing and scary because she's just a desk person at the FBI. She's not a field agent. So when she's in there, at least at the beginning, you feel that fear as you're going around the care center and the hotel. And I think when we were playing it all together, those sections, even though I did previously play it before we made the trip up, just replaying that with you guys as you experienced it the first time, and just how tense it was and how scary it was, is awesome. And that's what I want from a Resident Evil. And the Leon action stuff is cool. It's fun. But I personally more prefer the Grace style of gameplay, of the tight corners. I love the care center that we're in. It's the Lady D mansion in Village. It's the Baker house in 7. It is the claustrophobic corners and hallways and puzzles that I adore, and they nail it. It's the best it's ever been. At least in a new iteration, of course. It's great. The gunplay feels great. Shout out to the DualSense. Oh my god,
dude! The pitter patter of your feet. Oh,
the raindrops hitting the subway trains flying by and rumbling. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I can talk more about it, but I want to get your thoughts on it, Light, for the little bit of gameplay that you played, because we traded off a little bit at the beginning, and then just your overall just experiencing the story firsthand.
Yeah. So I'm with you, Kyle, and I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I do prefer the more puzzly, slow-paced Resident Evil. 2 Remake was my favorite compared to the other ones. I love getting to a door and oh nope, I need a fuse for this, or oh, I need a wrench for that, or I needed this, and then you need to keep exploring other rooms to find what you need, and then slowly make your way through. And I loved Lady D's mansion. Like you said, that's a perfect description of the care center that you're in with Grace. That is what I love from Resident Evil. The kind of sneaking around, scarier feel, I guess. Leon, don't get me wrong, I loved when Leon was in it. He had some really cool moments with, I don't want to say anything because I don't want anybody to have any spoilers, but
Yep.
some really cool things that you can use in combat where we had some hysterical moments with them because of the physics of said items. That I absolutely loved. But I also I mostly played a bit at the beginning, and then I watched Kyle play the rest. But I do think it dragged on a little too much at the end. So there's a decent amount of back and forth between Grace and Leon, but then there's like the first half is mostly one character and the second half is mostly the second character. And towards the second half, I was like, okay, we can wrap this up now. Like it's been fun, but I don't know if we still need to keep it going at this point. And maybe that's just because I didn't prefer the action kind of style that was more heavily prevalent at the end. But it did just overstay its welcome just a little bit for me. Not enough to be like, ugh, this is not a fun game. I don't understand the love. I get why everybody loves this game as much as they do, but I think I might love it a little less just because there was just a little too much of the straight up action, fast paced that I personally don't love from Resident Evil game. So I think it's an amazing game. Definitely worth your time playing. They did a great job of bouncing back and forth between Grace and Leon and having their stories overlap. So kind of in 2, you could choose who to play as. And then when you played as the second character, you saw where the first character had been and the things they had unlocked and the things they had done. With this, it's much more happening in tandem. So you would pop up as Leon and you would see, oh, Grace was just here. And then you would pop up as Grace and you say, oh, Leon was just there. And then you have some intermingling moments that are really cool. So they did a great job of like passing back and forth in the first half of the game. And then the second half of the game was just one character focused. And I was like, nah, I didn't like that as much. The story, though, really good. Really good. Some fun, like I said, some fun weapons and things. Really cool enemy types. The infected in this are amazing. They're different than previous games, and I'll just leave it at that. And if you watch what they are and who they are, there's a lot of lore building in there that's really, really cool if you care to pay attention. And some amazing characters outside of Grace and Leon as well.
And to add to that, I think I said it while we were playing it. And this is not a spoiler because it was in the previous trailers. So if you don't want to hear it, fast forward 30 seconds.
Too bad.
I think it would have hit so much harder if we show up in Raccoon City the first time we play this game. Like, seeing it in the trailer, it's still cool. My God, what a moment. If that happened while we were playing. The other thing, too, that I do want to shout out, the writer, the editor-in-chief of Mothership, Maddie Myers, wrote an article today that I also was feeling a little bit the first time I was playing, and then the second time when I played through it when I got home. The one bummer, and I think this goes for a lot of horror in general, I don't love making an enemy scary just because the character is fat or overweight. I think the two characters that are in there that are more like a bosses are like they're just scary because they're big, and when you're listening to them, you know, the dialogue and stuff of them, what they're saying in the moment is like, oh, you're laughing at me, you're like, it's not my fault, I'm a joke, like that shit sucks, and you know, people deal with it all the time. And it's not great. So like being viewed as some people, as a big guy myself, as like a horror show just because I'm big is, you know, a lot of people feel that way, and that sucks. And I don't love that trope, and I kind of wish that RA didn't do that. Again, you know, it's fine if you don't agree with that, but like I do want to shout out Maddie because that is something that I was feeling. And please go to Mothership blog to read it, because it is a good read. But yeah,
And Kyle, you can correct me if I'm wrong too, please. Like if I overstep it all, but like it seems like they were trying to make a point that should not be the horror aspect when they were when they had them have the lines like "You're laughing at me, stop laughing at me," because those, like you said, are things real people deal with.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it just wasn't enough to like stick the landing of the point they were trying to make. If that makes sense. So it still felt like they were playing into the trope, even if they were trying to make a commentary on the trope.
1,000,000%. Yeah, I could see them trying with it for sure, but it just didn't quite land.
Right, there wasn't enough there for it to fully get there.
But those moments are still incredible. They're still incredible. The characters are fun. When again, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are multiple Mr. X's. Let's just say that it's Mr. X type of enemies. So that's fun.
Yeah, listen. I told him, here's a little Ozempic for you. You know what I'm telling you? Then that's when I started shooting them. That said, listen, I got some thoughts on this game. As Kyle knows, I was a big scaredy cat entering this game because it's been a while since I've dipped my toes into the horror genre. But I love Resident Evil. I entered it with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, and I've been a fan ever since, playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of my favorite games of just all time, going back during COVID and playing the original RE4 as well. There's just so much I love about both styles of horror that Resident Evil has done, with Resident Evil 7, I think, being the peak of scary, and then giving you that power fantasy horror with Resident Evil 4. And they just nail it both times. Like, this is kind of like, as many people said, like a celebration of what makes Resident Evil so good through every aspect. And whereas like Grace plays like Resident Evil 7, Leon feels like he's peak Resident Evil 4. But while I was watching you play Grace's section, and I was playing Grace a little bit in the first person perspective, I decided to change it to third person on the fly, which you can do. And all of a sudden, Grace played like Claire in Resident Evil 2 Remake. And then while I was playing through Leon's section, I was like, let me just try this out. And I put it to first person, and it felt like the ending of RE8. And it just felt like no matter which way I chose, though there's a quote unquote canon way that they want you to play, that I was never punished. I was only rewarded for playing the way I want. And it just changed the overall vibe of the game to where it felt like I was playing a different game. And it's such a compliment, because not only did these camera angles or these perspectives just work, they excelled. And it felt like, all of a sudden I'm playing a totally different game. It just felt so damn good. The horror in this game is their peak horror. And it's not necessarily because everything's grotesque. It's because the tension that they build as Grace is so masterful. You are wondering, why isn't this person chasing me? Why isn't that person chasing me? What's that sound I'm hearing around the corner? And it's building that tension valve, where then you switch to Leon, and then you release that tension with this action horror, and you have that power perspective of like, right, this is the veteran that's been doing it. And then it goes back to Grace building that tension, and then Leon coming in and releasing the tension. And they do such a great job of switching it back and forth that once I locked in on this game, I was like, okay, I don't need the walkthroughs to help me anymore. I'm a grown boy. I got this. And I just started powering through. That's why I'm already on the Raccoon City section on my first sit through with this game. I absolutely adore Resident Evil Requiem, and it is very much climbing up the ranks of not just my favorite Resident Evil games, but possibly my favorite Resident Evil game just ever. It's truly phenomenal, man. I love this game so much. I couldn't recommend it enough. Now, again, Kyle got the code. I did not, neither did Light. So take that for what you will, but we really enjoy our time with Resident Evil Requiem. I can't wait to finish it and give it my final thoughts next week, but guys, I'm telling you, this is the this is it. I
Also,
love it so much.
shout out, because like you brought this up too, while we were finished it, we were looking at the challenges. Shout out to the people that figured out that final challenge. I won't spoil it, but like it was unsolved for like the first weekend, and then somebody finally figured out, and boy oh boy, never in a million years would I have figured that out.
It seems like someone had to like do the data mining thing
Oh,
in order
really?
to solve it though, so that kind of sucks. I
that's
wish it happened organically, but
That's a bummer. But yeah, very cool.
And I will say, I technically got to play this early at PAX West, I think it was, but they didn't have invert in the demo build, which is very common. And as we know, I am the heathen who plays games the way they're meant to be played and play them inverted. So anyways, when I played the demo, I did not beat the demo because I was trying to run away from big scary things and I couldn't look at anything but the ground or the ceiling, and I kept running into things because when you're in tight hallways and you can't look where you're going, it's not very easy. So thank you, Resident Evil, for adding invert because I was actually able to enjoy it this time.
Also, shout out to PSSR 2, the Pisser 2. It's gotten an upgrade. This is the first game that you can actually see the difference. And my word, this might be the most beautiful game I've played on my PlayStation 5, and that's including games like Death Stranding. Like, it's just
There's
so damn beautiful.
There's still a couple of things that took me out. Like there are some characters that are too wet that look plastic.
Yeah.
Grace sweats more than me.
Sometimes their teeth look weird. Sometimes I was like, I don't like your teeth. Close your mouth. Because their teeth are just a little too much.
Close your mouth, Leon. Let those lips do the talking.
Listen, the way Leon sachets with his hips do all the talking.
And he's always got a one-liner. Always. Every single time.
And worse posture than I do.
Oh my god. Best. That was funny. We were just playing. I was like, look at his hunched over. Like Leon.
I guess if you're constantly on the hunt from infected, this is how I would walk too. But.
Yeah, he's my boy. Love him to death. All right. That said, that's what we've been playing. Resident Evil Requiem. Couldn't recommend it enough. It's a good time. Now, gang, anything you guys are holding on to per chance?
I'll hold on to Astro today.
I'm holding on to my #1 mom mug.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
I'm
doing
water.
what I can.
Yay. H2O.
Yay. I'm drinking tea. Prepare the drop here. The latest steals and deals coming to the PlayStation storefront. Kyle, see if it's a take it away.
Again, this is next week's game. So, March 9th, Age of Wonders 4, Rise from Ruin. Not familiar with it. But hey, you know what we are familiar with? And I can't believe it's 5 days away. Ghosts of Yotei Legends is on March 10th. Next week, we get to play some multiplayer Ghost goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Very excited to play with you guys. We should schedule something where we can play.
100%
about it because I'm very, very, very excited about that one.
Yeah.
March 11th, a game that was nominated at the Indie Game Awards last week. Today just was like, hey, it's out next week. Cute puzzle game. Is out.
Ooh.
It's very, very good. It's very, very good. It doesn't really tell you what to do, and you kind of have to figure out the puzzles on your own, but it's very intuitive and cute and adorable. It's awesome. March 12th is a very, very busy day. We've got Greedfall 2, The Dying World. We've got Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake. We've got John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, 1348 Ex Voto, WWE 2K26, R-Type Tactics 1 and 2 Cosmos, Road Out, Rel Warped Worlds, Collector's Cove, and Bubblegum Galaxy. And then on March 13th is Monster Hunter Stories 3 on PlayStation. And then, more importantly, if you pre-order MLB The Show, you can start playing on March 13th. So you know what I'm doing next weekend.
Hell yes.
But that's next week for PlayStation. Absolutely. Hell yeah. And as Jeannie in chat is saying, Crimson Butterfly demo is tonight.
Yay.
I watched my dad. I don't know which Fatal Frame it was, but I was way too young to be watching my dad play that game, and the nightmares I had from that were so traumatic. I still vividly remember certain scenes from that game where there's like this girl who had this mask and it had spikes in the eyes because she looked at somebody she wasn't supposed to, and she was just wailing, my eyes, my eyes.
Ugh.
And I had nightmares for days. I think I was like 6. Do not let your 6-year-old watch Fatal Frame. Highly
Also, Light, I think this Collector's Cove game is right up Kaylin's alley. It's like a cute farming thing, but it's like very like dinosaur themed.
Oh, she would love that.
Yeah. So this is next
I
week.
think
It's been
got
on my
a code
radar
for that
for a
if you
little
want
bit.
it. I think I have a code for you. Stefano asks, I'm really debating if I want to buy Marathon or not. Here's what you do, Stefano. You buy Marathon, you add me, and then we play together.
I mean, do you want to talk about it? We also played a little bit of Marathon too while we were together.
Yeah, very, very quickly because we're going very long in the tooth. But yeah, it's very good. I like it.
If you like those games.
It's okay.
100%. We played as a team. Did we get far? No. But we did. First off, Light killed 2 guys. Okay. You're better than Smash JT at Marathon. So
I died 3 times in the tutorial against the bots.
There you go. They're hard. Yeah, man. No, this is a hardcore extraction shooter. They're very much not going after this is not going to defeat Arc Raiders in the slightest. This is going straight for Tarkov, where they're like, we want a dedicated community of sickos that enjoy this type of game. It is a lot of fun, but visually very confusing. And they've already talked about how they're going to be streamlining some of the menus, but not trying to Huluify it. But yeah, there's something there. If they're able to capitalize on it, that's going to be the thing. But I'll give you guys more in-depth thoughts next week because I only played about an hour of it. So I wouldn't want to, say anything that's, not it. So yeah, I'll be playing it more over the weekend. So if you're playing it, let's play together, and then I'll have my evolved thoughts next week. Sound good? All right.
Cool.
It's time for our favorite segment, but sadly the last segment. It's time for the Sony Pony Express. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wait.
Man, we're out of gas. We're out of gas. We hit that 2-hour mark. We're out.
What's the matter, Light?
We lost. Jeannie's question was at.
I got it.
And then I think it got deleted.
Oh,
that was me. I got rid of it because I thought we already talked about it earlier. About
you son of a gun.
About Bloodborne and Miyazaki. I thought we covered it.
No, there was something else we could have talked about.
Okay. Hey. You know what, Jeannie? My bad. Listen, I'll undo it right now. It's at the bottom. Jeannie Loves writes in, hi, Light boys. What do you think FromSoft, specifically Miyazaki, about shutting down a Bloodborne remake means, especially after Miyazaki said it was up to Sony before?
Yeah, that is weird because Miyazaki answers like, it's not mine, it's Sony's. I don't know, man. It's weird. I would just I think if Sony was true to their word, they would walk up to FromSoftware going, you want to buy this thing from us? Pull a Kojima, because let's be honest, Miyazaki powers over Kojima. Let's just face facts. And I think honoring it that way would be very nice. But I don't know. It seems like right now, gang, it's a lot of like he said, she said. Well,
and I think like we said before with the PlayStation not having their games on PC anymore, no, but the plan is the plan till it's not the plan, right? Like before, Miyazaki maybe thought it was up to Sony, and maybe the holdup was that Sony was like, not yet. And then Sony was like, okay, now we're ready. And Miyazaki's like, well, now I'm not ready. You know what I mean? It could be like 2 ships passing in the wind, and it's like at that point, Miyazaki was like, oh no, Sony doesn't want to, like, that's Sony saying it's not mine. And then when Sony's finally ready and they go to Miyazaki's like, well, now I'm doing other things. Like, this is not the time for this. I'm not there right now. So,
and honestly, that sounds like actually the most logical point. Yeah. Stephenson, what's the next question here, sir?
Beckham5 writes in, what is up, Trophy Room Try podcast? With the recent announcements of the resurrection of Red Octane and the revamped Guitar Hero-like game Stage Tour being announced for later this year, my question for you three is, what was your favorite Guitar Hero game, and what was your band name? My name is Mark, so naturally I named my band Good Vibrations after Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, and my favorite has to be the OG Guitar Hero, with Guitar Hero 3 being close second place. If my memory serves me right, Kyle, you said you were a beast on the drums. You are correct. And Light, didn't you meet Mr. Light at a Guitar Hero party back in college? Anyway, love the show as always, and love you three as well.
Becca, first of all, really impressed that you remembered that, because I feel like that was just a passing story. But yes, not a Guitar Hero party, but Mr. Light would play in the dorm room, and in our dorm, everybody had their doors open, and he was like a god at Guitar Hero, so he would draw a crowd. So I was in the crowd, and I fell in love with. I'm not. No. And to answer your question, he was playing World Tour in 3, and I think I played World Tour.
Okay.
I think so.
Sure.
Not nearly as well. On easy, slow ride. What was that song?
Hell yeah. Yep, you're right. Yeah,
that's basically that's the only one I could master.
Yeah. My favorite of the Guitar Hero series is probably 2. I remember that vividly. I mean, my favorite though is probably Rock Band 2. I love Rock Band. If we're just talking
100%.
I couldn't
rhythm
get into
games.
Rock Band.
Yeah.
Which is funny because as someone who used to be a singer, you would think that would be much more up my alley. But
yeah, I think I prefer Rock Band just because drums. I always wanted to play drums, and that was the option. So, my band name though, in college we played Rock Band all the time, and we had 2. One is probably not looked upon fondly, not in any bad ways. Hold on, let me.
Kyle's about to get canceled.
I don't know why I set that up, but our band name was Deaf Child Area because we were so loud. And then the one that I actually truly still love is Next 3 Miles, because we would always see those signs on the side of the road, and we thought it would be a cool band name. So that
sounds like an indie rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Group.
Yeah. We dug the name of that one. So yeah, I'm also super excited that it's back, even though it's Steam only right now. But this stage store. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. Guitar Hero 2 was my favorite. I'm trying to look at it right now. I don't know.
I believe 2 had Sweet Child of Mine, which is my all-time favorite song. So
yeah, whichever one had All That Remains 6 as the song, that one's the best one. That one got me into All That Remains. It also got me into it got me into so much metal. Oh my God, I'm forgetting the name of them. But yeah, I'm old, just like Mikey said, and I'm forgetting things. So
Guitar Hero 2 was 6.
Yeah, okay, then yeah, that one's the goated one. Played that a lot on PS2. My word.
Also looking at it, I think it was Guitar Hero 3 that I played if Slow Ride was on it, because it looks like Slow Ride's on Guitar Hero 3. Yeah. So that's
also
the one that I had.
Shout out to those games for broadening my music taste as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Oh yeah. So
Cowboy Danger D writes in a question for the Sony Pony Express. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!
Where are the PS5 Pro plates? I love to buy some sweet plates for my Pro, but Sony doesn't seem to be interested in making any for it. Do you have any theories as to why? Also, if you do know of some, I'd love to see them. As always, much love and shiny side up.
This PlayStation 5 Pro has Alibaba gray covers on them to make it look like a PS1 collector's. Yeah. But,
I feel like if it's an exclusive game that's like your IP, it should come with covers. And I do think they kind of have been doing that. Because we got some for Yote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can we buy those separately or no? It was only with
you
system.
could, I think.
You could? Okay, cool.
Spider-Man 2,
yep.
We got them for. What else did we get them for? I know there's more than that.
The anniversary ones, technically.
The anniversary ones. I think part of the problem is too, like, just they don't make enough of them. When they do, it's like impossible to get them because you're like rushing against all the bots, and then you just can't get them. Like I tried so hard to get the anniversary covers and controller. Never could. Never
Mm-mm.
could.
Yeah.
I did a little chuckle because I was looking at the set list of Guitar Hero 2, and I remember Lamb of God was one of the artists, and they're very like hardcore screamy metal, if memory serves right. And so every time my friend Ruben, this is only a joke that only I will laugh at, and him, but every time he would select it, he'd be like Lamb of God. I don't know why. It just made me die laughing all the time. So shout out to Beanche. He's the best. Little Beach.
Retro wrote in, hello, long-time listener, first-time caller. So be like Retro, right into the show, either on social media or join our Discord. I'm a PC player, but love the podcast, especially for the different perspective of the industry and what console manufacturers are doing. My question has sort of been covered in pieces, but do you guys prefer fantasy or sci-fi? And what is your favorite game book media of each? Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, Retro, yeehaw! Great
So
question.
sci-fi or fantasy?
Fantasy.
I think I'm typically a fantasy girly. I do enjoy both, but I think I gravitate more towards fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Star Wars is fantasy. Science fantasy, but it's fantasy. Like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Like, if you give me a sword and a shield, I'm gonna have a good time. So, throw some magic in the mix.
I flip flop all the time. I can't choose. Sometimes I like fantasy, sometimes I don't. And like, that is not more apparent than like Outer Worlds 2 versus Avowed. I'm loving Avowed way more than Outer Worlds, and Outer Worlds is more sci-fi than fantasy, which is weird. But some other things, I'm like, give me a sci-fi over fantasy at this time. So, my favorite like piece of media of each one, that's tough. That's real tough.
Well, I don't read, so we're gonna throw that one out.
Oh, see, I was gonna say that's tough for me because I do read, and I've got so many different books franchises that I love, like from romantasy to epic fantasy series. My daughter is named after an epic fantasy series. Like, I love obviously fantasy movies and TV shows. I don't know if I could pick one just because there are so many amazing ones out there. In terms of sci-fi, I think like I'm a Stargate well, if we're going to consider Star Wars fantasy, then I'm a Stargate, Star Trek, love them. Firefly, love all of that. But again, I don't know if I could choose a favorite. I guess Stargate and Firefly would be my favorites for sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi books as much. That's the hang-up. I like movies and TV shows sci-fi, but I don't love reading sci-fi books. Like when I tried to read like the Fifth Wave, and after I watched the Martian movie, I read the Martian book, and same thing with Arrival. They were good, but I was like, nah, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but like I would prefer to be reading my epic high fantasy series.
Yeah. I would say if right now I'm leaning a little bit more sci-fi. So The Martian is up there. It's one of my favorite books and movies ever. And also shout out to Ex Machina. Fucking love Ex Machina, that movie. Oh, it's so good.
I gotta watch that one. I'm looking around my room. For games, it's easy. It's Elden Ring or The Witcher 3 for fantasy. Again, books. Come on, you hear me read on this podcast? It's hard. Media it's Star Wars, right? Star Wars. But if I wanted to do like classical, if I wanted to take the sci-fi route, part of me, the first thing I'm gravitating to is Alien.
Ooh,
so
good.
Yeah. Loved Alien.
Oh yeah, and Stefano, I've read Hail Mary. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the movie.
Very good, very good. Well, gang, listen, that's been the trophy room this week. But before we get on out of here, anything we'd like to spotlight? What say you?
Speaking of Star Wars, I'm working through my Star Wars reactions over on YouTube. I just had episode 3 go up today. Rogue One will be going up on Saturday. And Joe, you'll be happy to know I've watched the first 2 episodes of Andor.
Yes.
So those are going up. For the gaming channel, I still don't know what the plan is yet. I'm trying to figure it out. Unfortunately, I have been having some unexpected health stuff. The reaction channel is easier to keep up with because I don't have to really think. I can just watch and then send it to my editors. Versus with my gaming channel, I have to cognitively be very like with it. And then also edit it myself. And I'm okay. Like I don't want to be like, but I have stuff going on that's been stressful. So the gaming channel is going to be picked up again soon, hopefully, but please bear with me as I try to get my gaming channel gears back in motion, just because there's been a lot going on. So yeah, nothing necessarily there, but still follow me if you haven't, because we'll be back.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Kyle Stevenson, what say you?
6-1 Indie for all your indie game news, reviews, previews, all that jazz. Consider supporting us over there on Patreon if you want to support the indie game stuff we do there. Mike and I have seemingly locked down our participants in the showcase in May, so I'm very excited. Let me tell you.
Nice.
Keep May 21st open. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And as Mr. K said pretty much everywhere, but who cares about that? Please love each other, support each other, and shout out to both Joe and Light. Spending the weekend with you was amazing. I'm gonna try not to cry. It was very good. I needed it.
Wait, before we go, I have to show you guys. I decorated a Lego wall. You'd be so proud of me.
Oh yeah. At the museum.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you found it already?
I made the mistake of using red on a red backdrop, so some of the letters disappear.
Hey, that
was really freaking hard. I don't know how people do Legos like that.
Mm-hmm. They were like the big chunky ones too. It was weird.
You know where to find me at Mr. Badbit on Twitter and Blue Sky. You can follow this show over at PS Trophy Room if you're on RSS feeds. If you're here on YouTube, please hit like, share, subscribe. It definitely does help us out. And if you really, really like us, you could consider tossing a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. We are going to SGF. We need all the help we can get. So if you can, and if you're able, it really does mean a lot. But if you can't, just hitting like, share, subscribe, watching the videos, those are awesome ways to support us as well. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, keep playing PlayStation. See y'all next week.
Bye, I love you.